want to talk about, so, you know, take me to, you know, when you first got started. Let's say you went to the interview, you started with the firm. What was it that made you say, I think I could do this?
Funny you say that, because at the time, now my former wife, she was an investigator for the state of Michigan, Civil Rights Department. She had a slip and fall accident prior to this, and probably barely a year. And so she was disabled, and she was getting disability. And then her and her fellow coworkers told her, she said, watch, even though we have lifetime long-term care, they're going to cut you off after 12 months. And sure enough, on the exact 12th month, she get a letter the next day, you're being discontinued. In spite of her having 3 letters from 3 of the top pain management specialists in the country that said this woman cannot work, they refused to pay disability. So of course we had to sue them. But even though you win that, which we did, that's years down the line. In the meantime, we still got to eat. Lights got to go on. You know, gas, light, the whole 9. And in the midst of that, we had just adopted 2 grandchildren who were 6 and 3 years old, who came here with all kinds of sociological issues. You know, it was a nightmare. And it's like, wow. And so anyway, they said, okay, she can stay off on get her health, get the check, but Gerald, you got to go to work. And I had to be taking her to physical therapy 3 times a week, to take one of the children to school, the other one started preschool. And then they said, so one of my job fair listings they gave me was go to a job fair, the hotel, Marriott Hotel. And I walk in, ain't nothing but insurance people. And I'm getting all these things in the mail. And I told my wife at the time, I said, I don't know if God trying to tell me something. Why is it that all this stuff about insurance keep popping up? I'm getting my emails all of a sudden, ads in the paper. I open up a magazine and they talk about insurance, and I'm already hating it with a passion because y'all stopped that $3,000 a month check. So you know I'm mad. Right. And then I go all the way around. I get to about, if you picture a clock, I'm probably about 3/4 away. At 4 o'clock, distinguished Black gentleman, the only Black gentleman in the room, and Mr. Bill Hill. God bless him to this day. I love the brother. Him and his wife, Marlene. And he said he saw me come in the door. Now, this is a big conference room. He said he saw me come in the door and was packing up his stuff, but he said he waited for me to come around. So I went around the spiel, and the guys all promising you can do 6-figure. I'm like, okay, that's nice. I said, I'd have made 6 figures, so they ain't like that's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for me. But I talked to Bill, and you come to find out, several people who on his staff who went or worked with him went to the same church I did. So I'm like, okay, you got a little credibility. And the brother was nicely dressed because, you know, Bill, he's blue suit, black suit. That's it. Ain't nothing flamboyant about it, but classy, you know, great classy guy. And so sharp, I'm looking at him, I'm checking, okay, you nicely dressed, nails clean, okay, brother, nice suit, well groomed, okay, you look like you might know. And then we're talking, and before it was over with, he said, how about if you come in for an interview? And then I came in, and of course, when I came, Kareem was sitting there. And so he hooked me up with Kareem, and we liked that instantly. You know, if it was a boy and girl, you could say love at first sight. But it was bruh love at first sight, you know. So we hooked up, and like I said, some of the people I started meeting happened to we all went to the same church, and it was good. It made me feel comfortable. And then we got to going. It's like, okay, and we had the city of Detroit police department, fire department, and Detroit Board of Education. So on any given day, Rod, and we had 24/7 access, you had say easy 50,000 people at your disposal of. So as a manager, if you agent come back to you talking about I couldn't make any money, it's like it was truly your fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a I don't know how this came about. I'm just driving down the street one day, show you how wide open this was, like the Wild Wild West. I look over and I see a water main break. I see a water crew truck. It's 3 trucks, about 10 guys standing over there, and the water's going. They got their high boots on. I parked my car, and I'm a young kid. I was intelligently ignorant. I wouldn't know you wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, as Brian was saying. I had my little car. Hi, hey guys, I just want to give you my car. I'm Gerald Scruggs with Colonial Life. Colonial? Man, I've been looking for somebody. Man, I ain't talked to my agent in 4 years. He said, can you help me with such? I've been trying to get some life insurance. I'm like, oh yeah. So I helped him with a claim. He got, a check for a couple grand coming. We sitting up there in his truck. Well, you know,
Water just going all over.
And we talk about paper apps now. That was pre-computer. Paper, I'm writing, like, I can't write fast enough. And then his buddy, it was like a truck wagon today. Then the guys was coming up one by one as a crew of 10. And then the supervisor pulled up. I'm like, oh shit, we in trouble now. Then the supervisor, can you help me too? And then they said, tell you what, you need to come to our plant. Now, I'll meet you at the gate at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we have guys that they come hang out at 5 in the morning to 7. You know, they talking stuff, playing dominoes, cards, talking about what they did the night before, you know, telling lies. You know how they go before they hit the street. And so they gave me carte blanche to now come to what they call the pit to hang out with the guys. And so stuff was just coming left and right. And next thing I knew, I had a bunch of clients. I didn't know how. And so and then when school started, I started within the schools and I would hold a luncheon. Now I was introduced to him by way of Kareem, and Kareem will laugh, tell you about this. I saw the first version of a luncheon. He had this white guy. They had a bag from Ponderosa with 32 wings in it, a 22-ounce pop. I'm like, what the hell is that? You call that a luncheon? And now it's about 60 people to school. I think 4 people came down. Now teachers, if you know them, they slick. They like Indians. They'll always send a scout down to check you out. What he look like, what the room look like, what kind of food he got.
What kind of food they got, right?
Now, my mother, before she became a nurse, used to own a restaurant. And my mother was big on presentations and everything. So I had the tablecloth, had 3 kinds, had the fried chicken, we had sandwiches, we had fruit, we had vegetable, sprinkled mints on the table, had a big floral centerpiece. And I had the slips at the table at the front door where you had to sign in. So they sent one down. Then next day she went back and came back with about 25 teachers, and they all lined up. I said, wait a minute, before you come in, everybody fill out that little slip. And they was filling it out, setting appointments right then and there. And then I was booked for the whole week, 8 hours, like I worked there. And, you know, I probably wrote about $25,000 of business, you know, made 5, 6, 7 grand. And I'm like, shoot, wash, rinse, repeat. Let me go to the next school to try this out. Same thing. And then that became the formula. And it would pass down from every agent that came after. That was the mantra. If you're going to school, this is what you must do.
That's what you do.
And it was something that was just born out of, let me try this, let me try that. And so, and then that came from, like I said, even while this was going on, I only still was to focus on worksite benefits, right to a disability life, cancer, accident. That's it. Yeah. But too many people were still coming to me, Gerald, my husband, he had diabetes. Can you help him? And I'm like, sorry, you know, Colonial, you could do an individual life, but it was fully underwritten. So most people would, even if you're in fair health, you wouldn't get past the health questions. So, you know, and so it was like, forget about it. And then I started learning later about individual companies that I could get contracted with. Ones that did special needs, one that would take diabetes and one that wouldn't. One, even if you had a heart attack, then there was guaranteed issues. So I started now expanding, because again, I think about all the people that I could not help, and it really felt sad in my spirit inside, you know, again, not to mention the money I lost too, but then that just kept growing. And then, like I said, it's about evolving and changing and reinventing yourself. And that's how I got to, you know, the spot I'm in now. Because had you come 10 years ago, you started talking about retirement, man, get out of my face. I said, I got somebody. You wanted something? I'll hang up from you, call my buddy, Joe, Rod, here's his phone number, call him, great guy. He got some money, he wanted this, take care of him. I already did the disability. My buddy would call you and take care of you. Now, I take care of you. Like I said, because it's a passion for me now. Like I said, when I did the IUF for my granddaughter, generational wealth, and that thing just exploded in me. I could hear it in both ears. It was like if I had a headset on, you know. And so that's my mission now. And then taking care of companies, doing from a different perspective. I'll still give you a worksite supplemental, but we looking at, let's first and foremost, the first thing, like my grandfather said about the horse pulling the wagon, is that PEO coming in with the triumph from the PEO perspective. Health insurance, payroll, health insurance, your workman's comp. Can we get you pricing? Can we get you set up, have some lawyers in your background? Do you know how to do background investigations? We can do audits for you when, you know, these women who got these baby daddy on the health insurance, internal dependent verification. We would help you do that to save companies hundreds of thousands of dollars. because all these people you had, y'all paying for health insurance on kids that live down the street somewhere. It's not legitimate. You know, they ain't even mine. You know, we got Ray and Pookie living in the house. You paying for them. You know, so it's the whole dynamic thing. So again,
the holistic approach.
Still in my back pocket, but now this has come to the forefront. This is something that's really a passion for me, and not to mention mentoring and helping any young agent I can. But like you say, when you come in, you can't come in doing the whole thing. It took me 20 years to get to this spot.
Right.
You know, trust, because like I said, it was kind of there, but retirement, you know, and especially when you figure, I didn't like an aspect because at the time when I started, I needed money fast. I had a wife who was disabled. We got, like I said, a 6 and a 3-year-old grandchild. I got little babies. I used to be out at the DPW yard at 5 o'clock in the morning, sit with these guys for 2 hours, then go home. Now I lived in the suburb, which was like 25 miles away, go home, get fixed breakfast, take the 6-year-old to drive, drop the 3-year off, then come back to work, then come back home at 3 o'clock to pick up the kids, then take my wife to PT 3 times a week, and then come home, do my paperwork, and start all over again tomorrow and do it again.
People got excuses out here. Come
on. No, I'm sorry. Y'all talking to the wrong person, okay? Right. But while I was doing it, I was having fun. And then when I started seeing them checks grow, we ain't talked about renewals kicked in
yet. That's a motivator, right?
We ain't talking about renewals kicked in yet. I'm like, I even called Kareem one day. He'll tell you. I called him one day. I was just having a good day ride. It was just something all over. And I'm riding music, blasting, top over, windows down. And I had to call, I said, Kareem, are you sure this stuff we doing is legal? Because this is too much fun, man. You know, you having fun, you helping people, you making money. And that was even before in my first year. I didn't know nothing about the trips because Kareem's mother, Pat, she said, Jerry, you on the target to make the trip. What trip? And I ain't know about no trips, you know, but that's standard, you know, in the insurance industry. Yeah. And in 6 months' time, I qualified, and they had never had nobody do that in such a short time. Qualified, I blew it out the water, and I was the top rookie of the year. Amazing. And I never forget while we in the water in the St. Thomas, you know, the boat took us to their private island. We in the water, you know, the guys in a tuxedo, sleeves and stuff, standing in the water, serving us drinks. And my ex-wife, she said, she looked me in the face, almost calling me, said, whatever you do, don't you ever quit this job. I said, don't worry, I'm still here. She ain't, but I am.
But you are, right. No, I love it. So
I took your advice. I'm still here.
I'm still there. That's right.
And not going anywhere, because even my wife now to retire, she said, so when are you going to retire? I'm like, baby, I like what I do.
It's kind of like for what, right?
Right, why?
It's like,
you know, I don't, you know, even if I knitted and golfed and gardened, you can only do so much of that. I mean, and I like the sort of flexibility of our schedule. I ain't got the point, you know, the corporate days. I remember back when I was in corporate, you know how many times you lying to fake sick. Rod, I won't be able to come in today. I think I got the flu, or your Uncle Roy died. He must have died about 4 times, you know, so... You know, all that crazy stuff, you know, and get mad when you see that same paycheck on Friday. You would think you'd be happy because you get paid, but then you get the check and it's like, this the same damn check it's been for the last 3-4 years. And I'm working my butt off, getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, putting up with we ain't gonna talk about the BS.
Working for somebody else's dream.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. Like they said, if you're not making your own dream, you are making one for somebody else. And so, like I said, when I started this, it was like, oh, we used to joke, say that's a cuss word to say, you know, I'm gonna make you go get a job, Rod, if you don't act right. Yeah. Oh, please, anything but that. Tie me to the tree and beat me, but don't make me get a job, please.
That's the thing that people have to understand about this industry, though, and working in this space is that, you know, if you're not inside of the business, you don't really understand that it doesn't even feel like you're really working. No. A lot of the time. You can feel a little bit guilty because you are working, but I'm making this for doing this.
Right. And we can look at ourselves in the mirror because when we go home, it's like I helped somebody today. Right. One of the greatest feelings in the world when I got my first client who called me back crying. She said, Miss Scruggs, one thing, and she bust out. I said, Miss John, what's wrong? You okay? She said, my husband was diagnosed with cancer, and I remember I didn't want to get that cancer policy, and you gave it to me. And we just got a check today for $50-something thousand, and now all our bills are taken care of. Then she wrote the president of the company, and then I got a call from him, and it's like, whoa,
you talking
this
about
is why we do what we do. You know,
how people keep their house.
Right.
You know,
exactly. and that's huge. And so, and then needs to say, then that, as I told some young people, I said, this is how you build your business. Because now I don't, I get these lead companies calling me all the time. I said, man, I ain't buying no leads. I said, I got people calling me. I ain't trying to brag or nothing, but it's just a fact. It's been that way for about 10 years. And that started by, like I said, my father was in the service business. I saw how my father took care of people. My mother was a registered nurse. So serving is definitely in her heart. And that was the background I came from. And this is how I was raised, of what you do right by people. And I just transferred that subconsciously to my business. And clients will be asking me, hey, I ain't seen my agent in 3-4 years, man. I like the way you take care of business. Can you be my agent? Sure. And I tell them, okay, put my phone. I'm gonna give you a car, but get the car. Put my phone number in your phone right up there with the ladies. I would tell them right up there with your doctor and your hairdresser, your two most important people. Okay? And the guys, I tell your doctor, your barber. Okay,
that's it. That's it.
You have some question, call me. And that's what happened. And then they would tell their friends and relatives, and like I said, calls and stuff started, coming in. And then when I started really expanding to now, got to the concierge there, where there's nothing that anybody wants in the insurance industry I cannot do for you.
You're gonna make sure
either personally or I can pick up a phone. I got somebody who can take care of that for you.
I love it. I love it. Just connecting that.